Hello and welcome back to Ensigns to the Nations. As we continue our Midwest road trip, today we are at the beautiful Nauvoo Temple, and it is the perfect place to talk about a woman whose courage changed history.
You remember, last year we studied all about church history in the Doctrine and Covenants, and there were many people who were right here in Nauvoo and other places where the saints courageously acted in faith. So stay tuned actually to the end, and we're going to go visit some of our ancestors who had that courage. It's kind of cool.
Our Come Follow Me lesson today is about Esther. Esther's story has everything, right?
Has a king, has a crown, has a villain, has a secret, a prayer, there's a brave young woman.
And a happily ever after. It's a perfect fairy tale.
Including a woman who, when everything depended on whether she would step forward in faith.
So today we are going to look at Esther in our See, Study, Shine format.
Right.
In the See section, you will see how the inspiring true story of Esther is as beautiful and engaging as any fairy tale ever written. Then in the study, we will talk about the doctrine and principles in the book of Esther. And then in the Shine, we will talk about how to live this story so that our own lives shine with courage, faith, and purpose. So let's begin.
All right.
All right, so here we go.
Tell us about the sea.
The sea. Yeah, watch your step. There's stairs here. Here's the fairy tale. Ready?
Yeah.
Once upon a time, in a great and glittering empire, there lived a powerful ruler who commanded lands far and wide.
Right.
His palace was full of gold, feasting, music, and pride. One day, after a royal celebration, the ruler called his queen to appear before the people so they could admire her beauty. But the queen refused, and because of that refusal, she lost her crown.
Uh-oh.
So a search began across the kingdom.
This is the search across the kingdom. They're announcing the search.
It's actually coming from the temple, isn't it?
I guess,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, everybody knows it's 3 o'clock right now while we're doing this. Among them is a young woman with a quiet strength and uncommon grace. She had lost her parents and had been raised by a wise older relative who loved her and watched over her carefully. He told her to keep one thing hidden: her true identity. The ruler saw her and all of the women in the kingdom. Of all of the women in the kingdom, he chose her. So the orphan became queen. But in that same kingdom, there was also a proud and cruel officer who loved power. He expected everyone to bow before him. Everyone did. Except the queen's older relative. The proud officer was furious. When he learned who this man's people were, he grew darker. He did not want to punish just one man. He wanted to destroy an entire people. So he manipulated the ruler, he made false accusations, he stirred up fear, and he gained permission to issue a decree that all those people should be destroyed on an appointed day. When the older relative heard the news, he mourned deeply. And then he sent word to the queen. You must go to the ruler. You must plead for your people. But there was a terrible problem. No one could approach the ruler uninvited and be expected to live, not even the queen. To enter his presence without being called could mean death, unless he chose to spare you. The queen hesitated, and then came the message that changed everything. Do not think that because you are in the palace you will escape. If you remain silent, help may come from another place. But who knows whether you have come to your royal position for such a time as this? The queen made her choice. She sent back her answer. Gather the people, fast for me. Do not eat or drink for 3 days. My attendants and I will do the same. Then I will go, and if I perish, I perish. So they fasted. And the queen walked into the inner court. The ruler saw her. And instead of judgment, he extended mercy. He welcomed her wisely, patiently, bravely, She revealed the truth. She exposed the wicked plot. She uncovered the enemy. She saved her people. And the day that was meant for destruction became a day of deliverance. The fearful were preserved. The proud were brought low. The hidden queen became the courageous heroine. And the story that began in danger ended in rescue, remembrance, and rejoicing. And they lived happily ever after.
Right.
Listen, that's not just a fairy tale. That's the story of Esther.
That's the story of our dear Esther. Okay, so now we turn from the storybook feel of Esther to the actual scripture that we have. A few powerful principles stand out. So first, God is at work even when it's not obvious. One of the most interesting things about the book of Esther is that the name of God is never directly mentioned. And yet his influence, as you read through it, is everywhere. In the timing, in the placement of people.
In the courage they had.
Yep. In the reversal, in the deliverance of them. Sometimes our lives feel like that too, though. We may not always see the dramatic miracles right away. We may not have clear answers the moment we ask, but that does not mean that God is absent.
Right. The book of Esther teaches us that providence is real.
Yeah. The Lord can be guiding circumstances, opening doors, preparing deliverance, even when we can't tell and see the whole picture.
Right. And secondly, the Lord also prepares people for specific moments.
Yeah.
I know that's happened in my life too.
Oh, yeah.
Mordecai's message to Esther is one of the most powerful lines in all of Scripture.
Yeah.
He says in Esther 4:14, "Who knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this?"
Cool. That principle reaches far beyond Esther. Sometimes the place where we are, the family that we're in, like the ward that we belong to, the trials we're facing, the opportunity in front of us, it's not random. The Lord may have prepared us, shaped us, placed us for holy purposes.
Yeah. And then we also learn, thirdly, that courage does not mean absence of fear.
Yeah.
Esther was afraid.
Yeah, she was. And she had every reason to be afraid. This was not a symbolic courage, it was a life and death courage.
It's moving forward while trusting God.
Yeah, right.
And Esther's own words show just how real that courage was.
Yeah, where
She said, "I will go in unto the king, which is not according to the law. If I perish, I perish." So that's from Esther 4:16.
I've said
Yes, the courage is crazy.
that's not casual bravery. It's a consecrated courage. Esther fasted. Now, they don't talk about prayer anywhere in the book of Esther, but they talk a lot about fasting. And of course, fasting always comes with prayer.
But she also gathered others to fast.
Yeah.
She prepared spiritually before she acted publicly.
That's a powerful doctrinal principle right there. When the moment is big, when the risk is real, when the outcome really matters, we turn to the Lord first.
Right. And then the fourth principle, the covenant people of God are never forgotten.
Yeah.
The enemy in Esther's story wanted to erase the people, but the Lord preserved them. Again, we see in Scripture that when we see the truth, God remembers this covenant. He remembers his people. He does not abandon them.
Yeah. And because of Jesus Christ, that promise extends to all of us. I find an interesting thing as we're here in Nauvoo about the way that people wanted to erase the LDS people, erase the Mormons. There were Mormon decrees to get rid of them all, just like in Esther's time. And the Lord preserved us through more leadership, through circumstances that people would never have known and never would have understood, and time that never anybody wouldn't have understood, but the Lord was there for them. And he preserved his people,
He
just
did.
like in Esther.
So even in scattered places, even in threatened moments,
Yeah.
like you were just talking about, the Lord knows where his people are.
Yeah.
He knows how to save.
Yeah, he does. So let's talk about shine.
Yeah, so how do we let Esther's story help us shine? We shine by remembering that our life has purpose.
Yeah.
You may not feel royal, you may not feel powerful, you may not feel like the obvious person for some great work.
Right.
Esther probably did not either.
For sure.
Right? But heaven sees more than we do. You may be in your own family for such a time as this, in your job for such a time as this, in your school, your neighborhood, your calling, your friendships
For such
for
a
such
time,
a time as this.
Yeah.
The Lord can use ordinary people in extraordinary ways.
Right, absolutely. That's so cool. Right, and in Matthew 5:16, it says, "Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven."
I love that. That is exactly what Esther did.
It
Her
is.
faith was not hidden
Nope.
forever. As
No.
in the right moment, it became visible.
Yeah, and she wasn't afraid to
No.
let that go, to who she was. When we live with faith and we live with integrity and kindness and courage, our light becomes visible to a lot of people as well.
So if you're facing something difficult right now, remember this: God may be doing more than you can see.
Yeah.
He may be preparing an answer through timing, through
Yeah.
people around you, and courage. He may have prepared you more than you realize.
Yeah, for sure. For such a time as this, just remember that. You can trust him for such a time as this. You can speak, you can act, you can shine for such a time as this.
So, if you enjoy our Come Follow Me discussions as we walk around God's sanctuaries,
Yeah.
whether it's the temple or these beautiful national parks that we
Right.
go to, subscribe to our channel and you'll be
Exactly.
notified each week when we have a new Come Follow Me lesson.
We love doing these things mostly because we love studying the scriptures, and we love to have our family with us. I gotta do that again. I don't know why I did that.
No, that's awesome. Yes. Don't stop.
That's the main reason why we do it. But anybody else who wants to enjoy it, please do. So stay tuned for what we saw next in Nauvoo, and see you next time on
Ensigns to the Nations.
Okay, so this is the house of Simeon Adams Dunn, who's my third great-grandfather. So his daughter married Martin Luther Ensign, who's my second great-grandfather. Simeon Adams Dunn he joined the church back in Michigan. He was baptized by his brother. He walked on foot all by himself to Nauvoo from Michigan just to see the prophet, because he knew something was going on. He got a patriarchal, while he was here in Nauvoo, he got a patriarchal blessing from Joseph Smith Sr., the patriarch.
Yeah, what's really cool too is a lot of the homes here in Nauvoo are open for tours, but some of them are residences.
Yeah.
So we've come to visit before, and there'll be like a
Yeah.
missionary couple that's now living in here.
Does that still say it is?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
This is a private residence.
And do you remember when we came before, they actually let us in?
Yeah.
We got to go in and look around a little bit, so that was really cool. A lot of courage to have to do all this stuff, just like Esther. So this home is the home of John Calkins Wright and his wife, Rebecca.
Yeah, we are so excited when we pulled up to find it,
Yeah.
because we've been to Nauvoo several times, but we did not find this home in the
No.
past. So to come through and see his name right here is really,
Yeah.
really fun. It's almost like finding a member of the family or a tombstone or something like that.
There's a section of Nauvoo that was owned by the reorganized church, and so you had to pay to get into there, so we've never paid when we come to Nauvoo before. But now that our church has bought out all that stuff, we can come right over here and take a look at it. John Calkins Wright, they'd call him J.C. Wright. He's my second great-grandfather, and his daughter married Martin Luther Jr.
And he had a great conversion story.
Martin Luther Jr., by the way, is my great-grandfather, so my grandfather's dad
Right.
is Martin Luther Jr. Yeah, the story with this guy, J.C. Wright, he was a Methodist minister, and some missionaries came by. He was in Massachusetts. They came by, gave him the Book of Mormon. He couldn't put it down, so he said, I got to go to Joseph Smith and find out what's going on here.
So we did.
His wife said, go, because otherwise you'll drive yourself crazy. So he does. He gets on his horse. He goes all the way over to Nauvoo. Sometime in the middle of there, he stopped to give the horse a rest, and he's sitting there reading through the Book of Mormon. He finds something, I don't even know what it was, that he didn't like, and he said, slam the book shut, and he said, I'm not doing this anymore, I'm going home. He goes over to get on his horse, and his horse was going crazy.
His horse had other ideas.
Yeah, he was jumping up and down and sneering and going after him, and he took off. So
well, and we talked in our episode about finding the hand of God in our stories, and how God's name isn't actually mentioned in the book of Esther, but as you go through it, you can see all of these pivotal moments and things that happened that were orchestrated.
Right.
And this is an
perfect
example of that.
This is an orchestration, right?
You know, very interesting how the reaction of that horse, what would have happened if he climbed on the horse like every other day and rode back home. Yeah. A totally different story.
Totally different story. So he does find the horse. He says a prayer. He says, okay, if I can find the horse, then I'll go into Nauvoo. And he does. He finds a horse. He goes into Nauvoo. He does meet with Hiram Smith, because Joseph was somewhere else. But he gets baptized in the Mississippi River that day by Hiram Smith. So.
Spirit of Elijah. Yeah. It's so exciting to get to know our ancestors better and some of their stories. Our next episode, we will be in Germany and learning about my ancestors. Maybe not the next episode.
I hope so.
But someday,
that'd be awesome.
I want to go see some of the places of my ancestors there. I don't have pioneer ancestry, but we can find interesting stories on both of us.
We did that just recently in Michigan.
Yeah.
Michigan is your pioneer place.
It is.
Yeah, that's where your ancestors all were. So we haven't talked about the Ensigns that were here, and that's because the Ensigns weren't here for very long. They came from Connecticut after they were baptized, and they came just after Joseph died, and a lot of the mobs had already started to get people out of here. And so he came, they went, pretty much got their stuff together, and then went across the Mississippi River to go to winter quarters. So this Pioneer Memorial right here does have a whole bunch of names all across these walls. These are all people that died in different places, and we should be able to find right here Horace Daddis Ensign, because he died in winter quarters. He was he had lots of sons. His sons helped cross the plains, and of course the Ensigns continued on right there in Utah and all over the place. So he was the first one to join the church, and so obviously had lots of courage to be able to get up and leave his comfortable home in Connecticut to come out here and then have to die in winter quarters.